intentions to move to Pride Park 2 years ago, but later changed their minds and began rebuilding their famous old ground. Today it's been revealed they've changed their minds again.
There's a lot of technical work to do yet. We're in detailed technical discussions at the moment, and I think we should look carefully at it before we go any further.
Are you saying Derby are very interested?
I think any project which brings a project of that size onto the regeneration site must be looked at very carefully.
Stoke City, meanwhile, have been told they've got to find £19 million within the next 2 months to finance their move from the Victoria ground to a new all-seater complex. They've been given a deadline until the end of March and will face the prospect of staying put. And that's it tonight. Tomorrow we'll feature the brothers who are setting the pace at the top of the First Division. Here's Michelle.
Thanks, Bob. Time now for tonight's main news headlines. Chancellor Kenneth Clarke has cut the cost of borrowing. Interest rates have been clipped to 6.25%. Russian troops are continuing to bombard Chechen rebels in a border town. Rebels killed several Russian troops in a neighbouring village. Meanwhile, Chechen sympathisers are still holding more than 200 hostages on a ferry. Turkey says it won't allow the ship to enter the Bosphorus. And police officers in Britain are to be armed with CS gas sprays. They'll be used for a 6-month trial.
Finally, a shopkeeper has warned that snakes and spiders stolen from his store could die unless they're properly looked after. The theft included tarantulas and a poisoned frog.
They're exotic and increasingly popular as pets. And someone wanted reptiles like these so much they broke into a Coventry shop to steal them. And although some have been returned, at least 4 of these small albino black rat snakes are still missing. So too are a box full of tarantulas and a poison arrow frog. But the owners say, don't panic.
The few animals, like the spiders, do have a bite. All spiders do, but it is the equivalent of a bee sting. So I think you'll find that the general public will be more liable to see a bee or a wasp than they will a spider, which will probably die in this climate.
Meanwhile, these scorpions are now making themselves at home in familiar surroundings, unaware of recent dramas. Their creepy-crawly friends could be less fortunate. Unless they're properly cared for, they'll die within 3 days.
What did you say? Don't panic if you see a poison arrow frog. I'd like to see you get on with that.
What, me or you?
Back tomorrow the usual time. Join us then, won't you? Good night.
Is that directed at me or him?
Central Weather, sponsored by Stay Bright Windows. The clear choice, whatever the weather.
Hello, good evening. Well, we're in for a bit of a change this weekend, and already tonight's looking slightly different, a little less misty than of late, but no matter what happens this week, it seems like it's going to stay mild. What we have then at the moment is high pressure across the continent with low pressure well out to the west there. The resultant southerly flow is therefore fairly slack but quite moist, hence all the mist and fog we've been having. Now you can see the cloud arcing down from southern Scandinavia there through Scotland and Ireland and out into the eastern Atlantic. That looks quite intimidating, and it is in fact rain-bearing cloud. It's painstakingly making its way towards us, but the high pressure in the east is blocking its path, and so it probably won't reach the central region at all. It may, however, be feeding across north and western parts of Britain tomorrow, bringing outbreaks of quite persistent rain and drizzle. Many other areas will start grey and murky too, but will brighten up later on. Temperatures best in the southwest at around 50 Fahrenheit. Tonight then it'll stay cloudy and murky across our region. The mist will be returning, but dense patches of mist are really not anticipated. By dawn, lows will have dropped to around 4 Celsius in places, so it'll be a little bit colder than last night, and that, together with a covering of cloud, doesn't exactly make for a great start to the day. It'll be a little bit misty and murky then first thing, and as we go through the morning, it's going to stay fairly cloudy. Any mist will, however, tend to lift into a thin veil of low cloud, and tomorrow afternoon will basically turn out much like the last few days, really. There may be some brighter interludes there, with perhaps more chance of seeing brighter spells than we've had just lately. On Saturday, the winds will be freshening up from the south-southeast, and many of us will be seeing some sunny spells, if you can remember what those look like. Still feeling quite mild too, and that holds for Sunday as well. Breezy with sunny spells, but feeling a little bit cool in the wind. That's it from me for now. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
The Central 7-day weather line, 0336 40 40 10.
In the contest, to end all contests, there can be only one victor.
In the name of charity, let the games begin.
Gladiators, the battle of the champions. This is the test where Britain's finest push themselves to the limit. A Saturday clash of the Gladiators, 6:15 on Central. The plans are in place. The time to exact revenge has come. At Emmerdale, next.
A tornado is a rapidly rotating column of air in contact with the ground. It comes from thunderstorms. We drop probes into the paths of tornadoes, trying to get an idea of what kind of force is contained within these vortices. Maneuverability is very important. In split-second situations, there's very little margin for error.
Difficult, very difficult, especially when you're stressed out. But probably the hardest part is when you're in the pub with your friends, you know, like have a drink, have a fag, because I never thought I could survive that. I did. And I'm not any stronger than you are, you know.
Every week, Family Fortunes has the winning formula. The Dennis family.
Good evening, it's wonderful to be with you again. I did it. Do me a favour, Mr. McCoy. If I were a rich man. Les Miserables. Looks like me in a bad mood.
Family Fortunes, Fridays at 7 on Central. Loyalties are strained without resolution this week in the tide of life.
I won't ever marry you.
I never asked you to.
But feelings can be buried.
I'm trusting you.
And trust can be abused.
That's my watch.
Miss Kennedy, I'm not your enemy.
Working my fingers to the bone. That gets knout. Because that's what you are, a knout.
Emily has reason to be wary in Catherine Cookson's The Tide of Life, Friday at 9 on Central. Channel 4 has the day's news. Here on Central now, a comeuppance is on the cards at Emmerdale.
Been looking for you for ages. You're cold by now.